Hello, 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 and welcome to Sex is the podcast brought to you by DC Health Sex Is. My name is Poet Taylor from WPGC at 95.5, and this is episode 5. I am super excited because if you don't know, now you know, February is National Condom Month. So today we are talking about sex and condoms. Why you should wrap it before you tap it. How do you talk to your partner about it? How do you even put one on? We're getting into all of that and then some. And most importantly, for my DC folks watching, how you can get free condoms delivered right to your door. But before we get into all of that, let me tell you a little bit about Sex Is for those who are new. So Sex Is a campaign by DC Health that encourages open, honest, transparent, and judgment-free conversations about sex and sexual health. Before you say anything, I want you to think about when you were younger, you were a youth, you had questions. Did you always have the places, spaces, and people to ask those questions and get the answers that you need? Wished you did? Right. Welcome to Sex Is DC, where youth and their trusted adults get to have open, honest conversations about sex and sexual health. So before we get into our conversation today, there's no conversation without my illustrious panel. So please introduce yourselves. Tell us where you're from, something about you, and of course your pronouns, because we always want to be and remain respectful. So Genesis, because I see you, I'm going to start with you.
Okay, hi, my name is Genesis. I'm a biology major from Radford University. I'm from the Washington, D.C. area, Southeast, and my pronouns are they, them.
My name's Jabalani. I'm 17 years old. I'm a senior at Duke Ellington School of the Arts. Um, my pronouns are he and him, and I stay in Northeast DC.
Hi, my name is Ruby Summer. I go to Duke Ellington School of the Arts. I'm in the LMC department. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm from Northeast.
Hi, my name is Mia Alsop. I'm a vocal major at Duke Ellington, and my pronouns are she and her.
Hi, my name is Lacey Joseph. I'm a 12th grade technical design and production student at Duke Ellington, and I live in Northeast DC, and my pronouns are she, her.
Hi, my name is JP. My pronouns are he, him. I'm a junior at Woodrow Wilson High School, and I live in Northeast DC.
And again, I'm Poet Taylor. My pronouns are she and her. I am a proud Ward 8 Southside resident. And before we really get into our conversation on today's episode, a lot has happened since the last time we got to be in each other's presence. So, my first question is always, how is your heart and how are y'all doing?
Well, I'm just trying to maintain my peace, which is easier to do under new administration. And just basically continuing to be a young Black girl, trying to get these good grades and passing my tests that are coming up soon. So, yeah.
I'm good. I'm a senior right now. So, there's a lot of things, I'm always thinking about my future, which is something you do. And it's stressful, but at the same time, it's kind of exciting because, outside of school stuff, I'm thinking about how I want to change my hair, my clothes, and how I want to do my makeup differently. It's just it's really fun to think about. So I guess
I'm doing good too. I am a little stressed though, I can't lie, because it's the end of second quarter at my school. I'm just trying to get in all these last projects just so I can maintain my good grades. But I'm also pretty excited and anxious about college because I only have 4 more months left in my mom's home.
For me, it's a little difficult being a college student in the middle of a pandemic, but I'm making it work. A lot of my classes are online. I only go in for labs, so I'm happy for that.
For me, I've been doing all right. Maintaining my mental and physical health has been a priority. But regarding school, AP Physics is consistently kicking my butt, but I'm trying my best and putting forth my best effort. So hopefully it'll end well.
Just working on, finishing the school year strong and everything. Been practicing a lot. I'm trying to, be properly prepared for when I'm, graduated and left high school and everything. So, yeah.
For me, anxiety better. I'm trying to make my bed every day. I keep hearing that that's one of the practices of people that are millionaires and billionaires. I ain't make my bed today. So I've not mastered that at all, but it's a work in progress. Now let's get into our main topic of conversation. And just remember the rules. As always, we respect each other's opinions and spaces, and we don't yuck anyone's yum. If you listen to understand and not to speak, you might find that you might like that too. So let's get this out the way before we move any further. Why is it important for people to wear a condom every time they have sex? Like every time.
I think the number one reason to wear a condom is to prevent STDs and just make sure you're safe, make sure your partner is safe, and anybody else around you.
I definitely agree. It's just a simple and easy way to just be 100 times safer.
Well, it seems like the easy thing to do, but what are common excuses that we've sometimes heard given to us that our friends have told us about why I'm not going to wear one?
I've heard people say that the condom doesn't fit, which is extremely unrealistic. I've heard people just forget them on purpose, as if you may not have backups yourself. People say that they don't feel anything while wearing them, which could be changed by getting new condoms that help pleasure you better. There's a lot of excuses.
Does anybody have some good comebacks, clapbacks, snapbacks for the we already did it without a condom before, or I can't feel nothing? My niece told me that somebody slid her that line.
I honestly feel like depending on if they're understanding or not, that just really tells you about the person you're working with. If they respect you, they'll want you to feel as comfortable as possible.
But truthfully, I think that in this situation, feelings are kind of something that they matter, of course, because it's like emotional connections and stuff. But when it comes to your health, that's really a priority. So if you're in that situation where someone's like, well, if we did it before, why can't we do it now? I really don't see a problem with telling them that was a mistake and we need to kind of change our habits. I feel like that's something that really needs to be emphasized.
And for the I can't feel anything line, there are plenty of condoms that have ridges on the inside and ridges on the outside and studs on the inside that help to pleasure both partners. So there's plenty of other things that you could use. You don't have to use the traditional condoms
That we know about. There's so many more options now. I definitely agree. There's often this conversation that, well, the guy should have the condoms, or the girl should have the condoms, or this person should have them, but it's not my job to have one. Who should have the condom?
Everybody needs to have a condom on. Like if you like, I know me personally, it's not like I'm ever going to like use them, but I just always like have one in my bag, always have one in my sock drawer. You should just always have them in like wherever you know you think something might happen. So like your car, your bedroom, different places in your house. And it's not just like a man should have it, a woman should have it. I think everyone should be carrying on.
I believe that if two people are participating in something, then both people are responsible. So it's kind of like if you have the mindset that, oh no, they're supposed to bring condoms, and they have that mindset as well, then what are you going to do when neither of you have condoms? It's kind of like both people are responsible.
Is there a better time to have the condom conversation? Like when I'm getting to know you, should I know if you're a person that uses them on the regular? What about if we are already in the throes of passion and maybe there's been some things already transpired? Can I ask to pull out? Like, can we slow this down, put one on, and move forward?
I think you should definitely have the conversation like before you're even about to have sex. But in the case that accidents happen, you still need to be able to say, can we chill out and can we like pull out a condom? Because it's just like at the end of the day, it's not about being embarrassed or like you don't want to ruin the moment, but the moment's going to be ruined when you have an STD. So that's why just condoms are important, period.
And you also have to take into consideration that this is not just your pleasure, it's two people's pleasure. And so I think that maybe it's a good idea to get them together and find out what works best for you, because you might like different textures, or some people like different flavors or scents, or really just find what works for both parties was the best advice
I love that advice. Actually, I'm going to ask one of you to help me right now. I was talking to a group of kids and I was surprised at how many of the youth that I know that talk about sex, some who are even out here experimenting, had no real idea on how to properly put on a condom to make sure that you're catching all the things that you're supposed to and covering all the things. So I know that all of you are rapping C's. Anybody want to volunteer to show how we put on a male and how we use a female condom for those who are watching who may not have a trusted adult yet that they can ask to maybe show
Well,
steps?
lucky for those, kids out there who aren't, familiar with how to properly um put on a functioning condom. I have come prepared.
Hey, the
Yes,
youth will lead
yes.
the way.
Yes, yes, yes. So what we're gonna do first off, we're gonna open the condom, but we're gonna use our fingers, like people with common sense. Tearing it is, it may seem hot and and it's a cool move that they always do in the movies, but like I'm pretty sure like you shouldn't do that, or because you might like tear it or something. I don't know, but yes, open the condom with your fingers, take the condom out, right? Um, and so you want to make sure that the condom is, on the right way so that when you roll it on, it actually rolls on. Just doesn't get stuck, right? So then what you want to do, all right, let me just say- then what you're going to do is you're going to pinch the tip of the condom and you're going to, place it there. You're going to roll it down the shaft. See there? And now you're ready to get to your action, you know? Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do I have a volunteer to show us how to use the female condom, which is more internal, I believe.
So I can show you guys how to put on the FC2 condom. This is what it looks like. And the first thing you want to do is look for the expiration date and just check the packaging to make sure that there's no damage. And then you're just going to open it where it says tear here and open it, and then be gentle and you take it out. And this is what it's going to look like. There's 2 rings. So this ring is going to go inside the vagina. And to insert it, you have to squeeze it like this and just push it on through. And then it's going to lay flat against your cervix. And then this plastic will come out and cover the lips. And then after that is situated, you can actually have this in for like up to 9 hours and just already had it there like before you even take off your clothes. But this is going to be covering the lips. And then after all that's good, then he can go ahead and do what he has to do. And then also, if you're into anal, there's also an option to take the ring out. And then you just have this, and then you can go ahead and just insert it into the butthole. And that's it.
I am so thankful for these lessons. Y'all are so awesome. For those who want to know about the RAP MC DC Health Program, I'm going to always keep telling you everything you need, everything we discuss, everything you need more information on can always be found at sexisdc.org. Now, not too many people know that with condoms, there's lubrication and they kind of go hand in hand. So for those who may not have ever known that, or surprised by that, can somebody chime in to break that down for those watching?
Well, there are more than one kinds of lube. The main 2 that people tend to use is water-based and silicone. Generally, silicone is a lot more harsh than water, and it can have certain reactions with people's bodily fluids, and it could cause problems. So we generally want to push for the use of water-based because we know it has no reaction at all. And it can increase pleasure for both partners. It can make the process a lot easier. It can prevent the condom from breaking because there's less friction between the skin and the condom itself. So it's all around good.
Now, let's just say I don't have lube per se on hand, but I got a little Vaseline, got my shea butter lotion, got some cooking oil. Can I substitute?
No. Using Vaseline on a condom will literally break the condom down, and you might as well have not used the condom at all whatsoever. Plus, using cooking oil, who's to say that it wouldn't have a negative reaction to your pH balance? I think if you don't have lube and it's uncomfortable for you to use a condom without lube, then maybe wait until you do have lube because it's the safest and smartest option.
Is there a way, if I am a youth and I am trying to figure out who my best trusted adult is, to have this conversation? And if there's a trusted adult watching, are there some tips that we can give them to when a youth may come to them and try to ask or start the conversation on condoms, condom usage, sex, sexual health, period?
I honestly feel that if you're a trusted adult, that you should just break any like uncomfort that you may have and just put yourself in that person's shoes because you were once there, you were once a teenager. And they're just trying to be honest with you. And they're expecting somebody who's non-judgmental to just give them an open, honest answer.
So I definitely agree with Lacey, what Lacey was saying about putting yourself in someone else's shoes, just because I think the best way to gain someone's trust is by speaking to them without judgment. I think judgment is really something that makes people insecure and makes them not want to share. And so I feel like when you're having these conversations, being able to empathize with other people is really like key. And also being straightforward, because if you're unclear, then the person that you're speaking with isn't really going to get the information as well as they should. And it's about your safety. So I think that's.
So, as we have this conversation about the best ways for trusted adults to have this conversation, do we think that we're having it early enough in schools? I'm noticing that a lot of times there was a big push for it once I got to high school. But for me, it was grades prior to that where we were having conversations amongst ourselves, not necessarily the most educated conversations, but we were. Do you think this is something that schools should be looking into to maybe starting earlier?
I definitely do. I believe there's a disconnect in the time where a lot of youth start to explore sexually versus when we start to learn about preventing STDs or preventing unwanted pregnancies. I think in the earlier grades, maybe middle school, I know personally, 8th grade, a lot of my friends were either thinking about having sex and a few were already having sex. And I'm very certain that none of them were using protection because it wasn't a thing. We weren't thinking about it. Teachers weren't talking to us about it until high school. And even then, it's not necessarily a resource that's pushed. It's just to not get an STD, use a condom. They aren't provided, they aren't mentioned, basically. So yeah.
I agree. And I also feel when schools do teach us sexual education, they need to emphasize like how important it is to prevent STDs, because I feel like when they talk about wearing a condom, they talk about unwanted pregnancies. But sometimes kids don't really care about getting a baby. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but they think, oh, well, that won't happen to me. But STDs, that can happen to you, and getting a baby can happen to you. So I think they just need to really push that, like, sex isn't as like, oh, it's not going to happen to me as you think it is.
Okay, I agree with everyone else. And I really do think that we should start teaching sexual education at a younger age. I'd say maybe around 8th grade, but like in middle school, I think is a good age, or maybe just providing condoms. Because like we were saying, or like Genesis mentioned, they knew people who in 8th grade who were having sex, but like they didn't really think about condoms. And that happens when you're miseducated, or you really don't learn what you should. I also think just expanding the curriculum is really important as well, because not everyone is the same. Not everyone is having heterosexual sex. Not everybody wants to have vaginal sex. There's really just too much that we're not exposing that people are learning on their own. And it's really just, it's putting people at risk. So I think it's definitely important.
From a youth perspective, do you feel like we should also be having more engaging conversations about condoms, period, and finding ways in society to make it cool to have one on you, to wrap it before you tap it? When I was younger, we used to have real campaigns like that. There was one that told you to wrap it before you tap it. But I've noticed over time, I don't even see those kind of things as often or as much.
I agree with you. I know, like, in my little friend group, talking about sex, we don't really bring up condoms as much as we should. And I think that's so important because, like everyone else has said, STDs, STIs, pregnancies, but it's just hushed. But I'm going to try to talk about it with one of my friends, just like casually. Like, hey, you used a condom, right? Or I have a condom for you. Just something casual so that it's the norm.
I definitely do believe that condom use and even talking about condoms, just like talking about safe sex in general, should be more normalized among us. Because my friend group, like we fully have conversations about sex. And I agree, Lacey, like we don't really, I know that I practice safe sex and I know a few of them do, but when we talk about sex, it's never like, it's not always, condoms are not really mentioned. So I think like casual conversation about condom use should definitely happen more.
Now let's talk about where even in a pandemic, we should be practicing social distancing. But since some of us are not so distant, you can actually get condoms for free if you live in DC, right?
It's sexisdc.org, right?
/ free
All right,
condom.
cool. All right, so yeah, you can go to sexisdc.org to get free condoms, get free lube, get your test kits, all that good stuff. It's definitely important, regardless of if you're quarantining with your significant other. Still need to be using protection. Still need to be practicing safe sex. That should be, like as it was said before, it should be a norm. Unless otherwise, and you are trying to procreate, have a family, whatever. But yeah, sexisdc.org. Definitely go get your.
Now, what if I am a youth that lives with a trusted adult that may not be ready for that action? Does it come and does it say free condoms on the box? Or like,
Oh
here's the
yes,
condom?
yes. It's definitely alias packaging. Comes in a nice little brown little what's the name? Little folder type of like paper folder. I don't, exactly. Is that discreet. You don't
Okay.
even know what it is for over. But
So
you'll know when it comes. You'll know when it
even the
comes.
mail person can't be in my business about what's
Right.
coming in my house.
Exactly.
I just wanted
Exactly.
to make sure. See, that's exactly why you tune into the Sex is DC podcast. Because did you know that? That DC address gets you more than, if you're me, a speeding ticket. It gets you free condoms and lube sent directly to your door. And that is why this podcast is on and popping. Where else are you having a conversation so open, so transparent, led by the young folks that are living it, talking it, doing it right now in this moment? Ha, pun intended. So I want to thank you all so much for joining us today. If you want more information, as you just learned, you can go to sexisdc.org and get full information. We even have a downloadable guide for our trusted adults watching that may just need a little bit extra tips and tricks to having these conversations. But I guarantee once you start having them, as you've heard from the youth today, they just roll and keep rolling. And when we know better, we do better. We move better. A reminder that we are everywhere that you are on social. So find us at SexisDC, Twitter, IG, FB. We are everywhere. So pull up and get familiar and talk to us. You can also catch episodes 1 through 4. Just head to sexisdc.org/the podcast to watch and listen in. And a reminder, I couldn't wait to announce this. Our youth advisory board is hosting a virtual event for National Condom Month. So make sure you are following us, you are tapped in, you are tuned in, because you do not want to miss that. So until we talk sex again, I want to shout out Jabulani, JP, Nia, Ruby, Lacey, Genesis. This panel would not be without you. But as always, before I let you go, best advice for those watching when it comes to sex and condoms.
Wear protection every time. Do it.
Be aware of what kind of condom you're using, because I'm always thinking about this. Lambskin condoms do not prevent STDs. Don't forget that.
Don't be afraid to be honest with your significant other.
Be upfront.
Normalize safe sex and casual talks about condoms.
Be positive, be open, and just like how you wear a mask, wear a condom every time.
Need more info? We already told you, sexisdc.org. Thank you so much for joining us.